They play to win. They play Sega Genesis. And now they're ready for Sega Channel. Sega Channel is here with the hottest Sega Genesis games on demand, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sega Channel and Scientific Atlanta have brought this new revenue-generating service to your system. Scientific Atlanta, a leader in broadband technology, has developed a unique system for the delivery of a wide variety of the most popular video games directly to your subscribers via Sega Channel. To receive Sega Channel, subscribers simply plug a special adapter cartridge into their Sega Genesis system, which attaches to their existing coaxial cable TV wiring. A menu appears on the TV screen to help subscribers select and download any of the games into their machines. Loading games typically takes less than 1 minute. Once games are loaded, they play the same as cartridge versions. Scientific Atlanta's system provides you with the fastest download time and error-free transmission available, which will keep subscribers happy and playing. Sega Channel provides up to 50 games per month via the Scientific Atlanta Interactive Game Service. The Sega Channel game delivery system begins with video game data originating from the Sega Channel Studio inventory. The current month's games selected to be on the service are placed on a CD-ROM at the Sega Channel Studio. Utilizing a continuously updated subscriber database, information is routed through the National Subscriber Authorization Computer at the Sega Channel uplink site. Data is next routed through a QPSK modulator and continues through up-converter components and a high-power amplifier. The signal is then transmitted via the Galaxy 7 satellite to the cable operator's receiving antenna. The signal is processed by a low-noise device and fed into a Scientific Atlanta Model D9550 QPSK satellite receiver. The receiver will provide as output 2 data signals at an aggregate total of approximately 12 megabits per second. Each data signal is then fed to a Scientific Atlanta Model D9560 QPR modulator. The output of the QPR modulators is then combined with other cable services for distribution to subscribers' homes. At the subscriber's home, the signal is received by a Scientific Atlanta Sega Channel game adapter, which is connected to the subscriber's Sega Genesis 16-bit game player via the ROM cartridge slot. To ensure the data integrity of the downloaded game, forward error correction provides a superior bit error rate. A menu appears on the TV screen to help subscribers select and download any of the games into their machines. Before installing your Sega Channel system, several key items must be considered. First, the low noise device at the antenna pointing toward Galaxy 7 must provide a 950 to 1450 megahertz L-band input to the QPSK satellite receiver. Next, the IF input level to the QPSK satellite receiver must be between -30 and -60 dBm, with a recommended carrier-to-noise performance of 7.8 dB in an 8 megahertz operating bandwidth. Third, bandwidth considerations must be made. Refer to the frequency charts in the installation guide to determine the valid operating frequencies for the QPR modulators. The QPR modulator output occupies a 3 megahertz bandwidth. The frequency-agile QPR center frequency can be set on any of 68 fixed frequencies, from 50 to 118 megahertz. The signal requires a minimum of 2.5 megahertz spacing between the QPR center frequency and the center frequency of the upper adjacent video carrier. In addition, the QPR modulator requires a minimum of 2 megahertz spacing between the QPR center frequency and the center frequency of any adjacent FM, addressable control data, or lower adjacent audio carriers. Next, a minimum of 9 inches of contiguous rack space is required for the Sega Channel components to be co-located. Finally, 2 ports must be available on your system's combiner network to allow for the connection of the outputs of each of the QPR modulators. For the installation of the Sega Channel components, you will need Scientific Atlanta Sega Channel Games cable adapter, a Sega Genesis 16-bit game system, a 1.5 gigahertz spectrum analyzer, 2 pieces of 3-inch insulated wire with stripped ends, flathead and Phillips head screwdrivers, and a 7/16 open-end wrench. The following sections in this video program review the 3 steps for setting up your Sega Channel game system, which are installing the Model D9550 QPSK satellite receiver and the Model D9560 QPR modulator, and verifying your system's operations. To begin the installation, unbox all related pieces of equipment and place the Model D9550 satellite receiver into the rack. Connect a cable from the LNB or block converter to the input connector, labeled RF-in, on the back of the satellite receiver. Power on the receiver by plugging the AC power cord into the rear panel and then into an AC outlet. Verify that the LCD display is illuminated. If the LCD display is not illuminated, check the condition of the rear panel fuse. In situations where the LNB requires DC powering, configure this option from the LCD display. All other options relating to the receiver will be factory set. In addition, the DMOD lock and the data sync LED should also be illuminated to indicate valid reception of the Sega Channel signal from the satellite. These indicators are not illuminated when either a problem is detected within the unit or when a loss of input signal occurs. Refer to your installation manual for proper configuration options. Also, re-verify that the signal level is in the proper range and that the input cable is securely connected. When the DMOD lock and data sync LEDs are illuminated, the receiver installation is complete, and you may proceed with the QPR modulator installation, covered in our next section. Prior to installing the Model D9560 QPR modulators, ensure that the distance between the modulators and the receiver does not exceed the length of the supplied DB9 cables. Caution is required here to ensure only the special DB9 cables shipped with modulators are used to connect to the receiver. After determining the proper location for the modulators, carefully place them into the rack. Next, connect the supplied short 75 ohm IF jumper between each modulator's IF in and IF out ports. Connect the 2 supplied DB9 cables from the 2 data clock outputs of the receiver to the data clock inputs on each of the 2 modulators. You must connect the data clock out A on the receiver to the lower frequency QPR modulator. Setting the QPR modulator frequencies are covered later in this section. Now apply power to each of the 2 QPR modulators. When properly installed, the power indicator will be on. In addition, the no clock and no data indicators will be off. To select the proper frequency offset, press and hold the up and down arrow keys until the frequency offset displays. Press either key to scroll through the choices of 0.00 or no offset, 0.25 or 250 kHz, 0.50 or 500 kHz, and 0.75 or 750 kHz frequency offsets. The correct setting is 750 kHz. After allowing the display to time out, about 4 seconds, the default or last set frequency is displayed. The output frequency of the QPR modulator may be set in 1 MHz steps from 50 to 118 MHz. Press and hold the down arrow key, frequency decrement, or the up arrow key, frequency increment, to cause the display to scroll through the available choices. Release the key and allow the display to time out, selecting the appropriate choice. Install a jumper between test and ground, located on the back of each QPR modulator. Now connect a spectrum analyzer to the output of the combiner and set the controls as specified in the installation guide. Connect each QPR modulator's RF output port to any available input port on the system combiner. Adjust the output level of the QPR modulator until it is 7 to 10 dB below the adjacent video carrier level. If load drop levels or system tilt problems are common in the system, it may be difficult to deliver a minimum level of -20 dB MVs to the game adapters. Systems experiencing this difficulty may increase the output of the QPR modulators by up to 2 dB above the recommended level. Care should be taken to provide a -20 dB MV to +5 dB MV level to all game adapters in the system. After the output level has been set, remove the jumper to allow for normal operation. Doing this will cause the peak power level of the modulated Sega carrier to drop. Further adjustment of the carrier is not necessary. Our final segment in this program will review installation of the game adapter and system verification. To verify system operation, pad down the combined output of the system to provide between a -20 dBmV to +5 dBmV QPR input level to the game adapter cable input connector. Plug the power supply provided with a Sega Channel game adapter into the adapter power receptacle, then plug it into an AC outlet. Connect the Sega Genesis unit as described in the installation guide provided with that unit. Insert the game adapter into the game cartridge slot of the Genesis unit. Power on the Genesis unit and reset the game adapter. The adapter will search for and store in its memory the frequencies carrying the Sega Channel data signals. In the event that an error message is displayed during the search, verify that the cables are connected properly from the data clock output on the receiver to the data clock input on the modulator. Also verify the operation of the QPR modulator. Refer to the installation guide for error message descriptions. In approximately 15 seconds, menu information should appear on screen, indicating the auto search is completed. To confirm that data is being received from both QPR modulators, perform this simple test. Disconnect the data clock input from one QPR modulator and reset the adapter. Verify that menu data appears on screen. Now reconnect the data clock input to that modulator and disconnect the data clock input to the other modulator. Reset the adapter and verify that menu data appears on screen. Reconnect the other modulator to complete the installation. Sega Channel is online.